this opportunity and giving us this opportunity to hear you out, listen to your views about the rare disease community, how you've been working in this particular field, and how we can learn from your experiences, which you probably would share today. So we'll start our session today with Dr. Abhishek Bhasme, who's a young, dynamic, pediatric orthopedic surgeon based in Bangalore. He's currently working as assistant professor at the Department of Pediatric Orthopedics at Indira Gandhi Institute of Child Health in Bangalore. He completed his MBBS from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Medical College and went on to do his MS Orthopedic from Father Muller Medical College, Bangalore. He has a special love and passion for pediatric orthopedics, and a desire to serve brought him to Indira Gandhi Institute of Child Health, where he completed his fellowship in pediatric orthopedics. Dr. Abhishek continues to serve at Indira Gandhi Institute as a senior resident and now as an assistant professor. With many years of experience in orthopedics, his area of interest include pediatric bone infections, cerebral palsy, skeletal dysplasia, pediatric deformity correction. He's also involved in many research and publications in the field of his specialty. He has worked extensively for the cause of child health and betterment. He has volunteered with various organizations, NGOs, in conducting free screening camps at various districts of Karnataka. He is working as an honorary basis with associations of people with disability and in the Indian Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation. Today, I think he'll be sharing more of his experience in dealing with patients with Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation. And we look forward to learning a lot many things from your experiences. Over to you, Dr. Abhishek.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank ORDI for this opportunity. I'll just start sharing my screen. I'm Dr. Abhishek S. Bhasme, and I'll be speaking on behalf of Indian Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation. Sorry.
You need to put it in view mode, doctor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. But you are not visible.
1 minute.
Okay, that's
yeah.
Great.
I'm not able to change the slide. Not going ahead. Since I'm not able to change the slide, I'll just go ahead with this if it's not an issue. Yeah. Thank you, ORDI, for this opportunity and having us on this talk. Firstly, what is osteogenesis imperfecta? Osteogenesis imperfecta is a rare genetic disorder which affects mainly the bones, resulting in multiple repeated fractures. So it is also known as brittle bone disease or glass bone disease. So a person with this diseases suffer from repeated fractures even while doing normal activities, daily activities, as simple as probably sitting on a chair or just turning on the bed might fracture their bones. So this condition is genetically inherited, but in certain cases, it can result due to spontaneous gene mutations when there is no history of the disease in the family. The disease can vary from mild to a severe form, where in mild, there are few fractures. In severe forms, they can result almost more than 100 fractures in their lifetime and may even result in death during birth. So Indian Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation was founded in the year 2018 by Ms. Archana Ravindran for the main purpose of helping and serving people with osteogenesis imperfecta. Our vision was to enable children and adults with OI to live an active and independent life and to get them access of competent healthcare and necessary social support. We work on the vision to connect and empower organizations, professionals, individuals to improve the lives of people with OI. The mission of IOIF is to improve the quality of life for those living with OI through research, education, awareness, and mutual support. IOIF is an associate member of the European Umbrella Organization, OIFE, and has activities of IOIF. We concentrate on four main things. Firstly, the awareness and educative program, financial assistance for medical and surgical treatment, rehabilitation program, and scholarship programs for students. When it comes to awareness program and educative programs, we focus mainly on social media awareness via our Instagram and Facebook profiles. We keep updating stories and how to take care of the children and about the disease, so that both parents, people with the condition, as well as general public are made aware of the disease. Also, in person, we concentrate on educating parents, patients, and caregivers, as this is a condition which results to brittle bones, and hence the patient need to be taken care of very carefully. So it becomes very important to educate the parents, especially when the child is newly diagnosed with the condition. They're often in perplexed as to how to take care of them. Anything they do results in fractures. So this is another important aspect of our program, and public awareness programs are conducted. So we actively engage volunteers to do our awareness programs, be it in colleges or online platforms, or we also have a WhatsApp support group for parents and OI warriors, so that they are able to interact with each other and learn from each other, and also approach experts on the group as and when help is required. Also, we have conducted many educational webinars for the parents and caregivers. And also, India being a yoga center of the world, we have always focused on yoga for people with OI. Be it as simple as breathing exercises, we have conducted few workshops for yoga for people with OI. Also, we have celebrated Wishbone Day, which happens every year on 6th of May, which focuses on creating awareness and also recognizing people in the people with OI who have accomplished in life. And we every year take a point to recognize one such person, so that they inspire others, and in turn us to work more for this cause. We have been happy to be part of ORDI's Race for 7 every year. This has also helped us create awareness on our organization and on the condition. Coming to financial assistance and medical surgical treatment, we have 3 projects. Firstly, Project Strong Bone, where we focus on medical treatment, where the children are given free bisphosphonate therapy. It's an injection given every 6 monthly to strengthen the bones. So we started out in 2018 with just 6 patients, and in 2021, we have been able to assist 30 children with OI to get this treatment, and further hope to expand our program. Currently, we are working only in Karnataka with this. And in the coming years, we hope to spread this project to the surrounding states as well. We have been happy to help children fund the surgeries, and we have almost assisted more than 10 children get their surgeries done, where it's not just one surgery that the child has to undergo, almost 4 to 5 surgeries to correct the deformity of the limb and put a nail inside the limb so that it is prevented from further fracturing or bending. So certain children almost undergo, say, 10 to 15 surgeries in their whole lifespan, and probably more depending on the number of fractures. Another important aspect of our organization is concentrating on rehabilitation program, and most importantly, counseling and psychological rehabilitation. As these children have repeated fractures, they are often quite distraught and disturbed, and hence we make it a point to talk to such children, and especially when they are in the adolescent age group, talk to them, encourage them, and so that they become stronger in mind and in body. So we have been able to counsel a lot of children, and as even parents, when their kid are newly diagnosed with the condition, it becomes important that we psychologically support them as they go through this phase. Physical rehabilitation is also an important thing, and we have been happy to have assisted children get wheelchairs or orthotics. And recently, we were happy to sponsor an electric wheelchair for one of our child with OI who's currently doing her engineering. And in future, we hope that we'll be able to do many more such donations. Not just rehabilitation or medical treatment, even encouraging such children to pursue their dreams and aspirations is very important. We conduct online tutoring. We have 12 children who have benefited from online tutoring. And when need has come, we have been able to donate smartphones so they are able to pursue their education online. We also provide career and counseling placement assistance for people with OI. At present, we have one person with OI who's aspiring to be a chartered accountant, another, two of them pursuing medical degree, as well as another pursuing engineering. And we encourage such children to pursue their dreams, because being limited by the disease is not a reason to stop education. Another important project that we took up this year was to create a doctor's directory, which is available on our website. So this is a directory of doctors in various specialties, be it endocrinology, orthopedics, genetics, and hospitals which provide a specialized clinic for children and adults with such conditions, such as OI and other metabolic bone diseases. So we encourage all of y'all, if y'all could share this with among your friends and other groups, so that people might be able to benefit. This is not only for OI, but also for people with other rare diseases as well. So this will help everyone, reach out the right specialized doctor when need comes. As an organization, what do we expect from the government is one, more inclusive programs for rare bone diseases. Often we see that certain conditions are given more preferences, and there are various other rare bone diseases and other rare conditions which are often left in the dark or don't receive much attention to or care. So any program done for rare conditions must be inclusive of all the diseases. And another important thing is assessment criteria for people with OI and other rare diseases, which is missing in the disability assessment manual, hence making it difficult for people with such conditions receive a better disability stratification, or making it difficult for their assessment. Make treatment of both medical and surgical treatment more affordable is another thing that the government has to look into. And ease of mobility for all, not just wheelchair friendly, but also people with such diseases might be able to walk, but with probably some support or some difficulty. So it's not just wheelchair accessible thing that we need to look for, but also ease of mobility in all forms is something that the government has to concentrate on. Our suggestions would be patient advocacy groups should work in unison for common goals. And also we should educate the lawmaker and public about the rights and needs for people with rare diseases. Having said this, we would be happy if you all would want to contact us for any further assistance or guidance in relation to osteogenesis imperfecta. You all can contact us via email or through the phone number. I would like to now have Archana Ravindra to share her experience with osteogenesis imperfecta. She's our founding president and a person with osteogenesis imperfecta.
Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Good morning, everyone. I'm Archana Ravindra, the founder of IOIR. First of all, I'd like to thank ORDI for having given us this opportunity to talk about IOIR. I would also like to thank everyone for having taken the time off to join this session, especially today being a Sunday. I would like to quickly tell you all about my journey with OI and why IOIR was founded. As Dr. Abhishek just explained, OI is a rare genetic condition that causes fragile bones that break easily. A person born with OI can have a few to hundreds of fractures in a lifetime. OI is a lifelong condition. So I have a moderately mild type of OI. It is type 4. And I had my very first fracture as an infant when I was less than a month old. Overall, I've had around 17 fractures and underwent several surgeries on my femur bones to set right the deformities caused due to repeated fractures. However, the occurrences of the fractures almost came to a stop as I reached my teen years. OI doesn't just affect the bones alone. It can cause hearing loss, brittle teeth, and respiratory issues. We all know that raising a child with a rare condition involves multiple challenges. Likewise, my parents also had to face many challenges with my rare condition, especially since there were 2 other children in the family who were healthy. What was wrong with me? Why was I breaking my bones repeatedly with little or no trauma at all? To find answers to all these questions, it took them a long time because my condition was left undiagnosed until I was 3 years of age. It was a challenge finding expert healthcare and running around from one health center to the other, bearing the expenses of the medical treatment was all causing a huge financial burden. I was given the nickname as a glass doll. Next slide. Previous. Although currently there is no cure for OI, yet my active lifestyle has enabled me to manage my condition. So one important thing for people with OI is they have to be active. Even if they are a wheelchair user, they still have to manage to be active. So my active lifestyle enabled me to manage my condition. I was fortunate to have grown up in a family where my parents and my 2 siblings empowered me every single day. They told me that I can do anything that I set my mind to. So much so that I got the nickname Can Do. I was fortunate to be in a regular school that accepted me. Overall, I've had a near normal life, but of course, with some altercations that had to be made throughout. I had a full-fledged career as an early childhood educator. I practiced gentle yoga to keep myself physically and mentally for the physical and mental well-being. Next slide. So, in 2018, Indian Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation, IOIF, was founded after my successful journey as the directress of my school. With this in place, I decided to use my experience as a person with OI to educate and support the others having the same condition. It becomes necessary to stay connected and to share information and news about the medical developments in this field. Just because someone has a condition, it doesn't mean that they have to lead a life with restrictions, isn't it? Acceptance is the key. Once you accept your condition, you can lead a life with more positivity. This is the vision of our organization. I'm very proud to say that we have a supporting team of board of members in IOIF who are keen on making a difference in the lives of people with OI. I'm humbled that there are many more people out there who have a more severe form of OI than I do and are doing remarkably well in their lives. There is a need where no one is left behind or where no one is defined by their condition. Because inside everyone, they hear the scream, I am so much more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abhishek and Archana ji, for this wonderful presentation and sharing your experiences and what to say. I mean, it's so interesting. Are there any questions? Yes, I think we've got a few questions. Yeah, so if we can start with the questions, and then we have another speaker, which is again going to be very interesting talk. But let's first finish up with what Archana ji and Dr. Abhishek have shared with us. So one of the questions which has come up is, what is the cost of medicine and what is the protocol for this?
So this is a condition where the bone breaks very frequently. So we give an injection, something known as bisphosphonate. So this strengthens the bone. So there are various types of bisphosphonates. They start off with as affordable as 3,000 rupees and go up to 10,000 rupees. But one that we most commonly use here in our setting is something that costs 3,000 per injection, and this is given every 6 monthly. But when it comes to surgical treatment of such children, we use a specialized rod known as telescopic nails, and the ones which are available in the market, the original telescopic nail costs almost 2.5 to 3 lakhs per nail. And considering that all the limbs are affected, a child might require anywhere between 4 to 5 nails. So that's almost like 10 to 50 lakhs per child. We do have an Indian version of the nail, which is affordable and costs 10,000 rupees. But again, when it comes to it, there's always the question of cost. And is it really good? Has the the original telescopic nail?
You just mentioned, so one question which arises in my mind is this, how do you do the diagnosis of OI? I mean, is it genetic or is it a clinical diagnosis? Or you just do repeated X-rays just to find out, how do you diagnose?
So depending on the severity, if it's a severe form, most of the time the child is brought to us when it's newborn, probably in the first month of its life, multiple fractures and fractures. Just the process of birth itself results in multiple fractures in limbs. And when they come with multiple fractures, there's always a question of, is there something wrong with the bone? And when we take a X-ray, we notice that even when the child is in the womb, suffering with fractures, and we see bones in multiple stages of healing. That's one way of diagnosis where and clinically as well, they have a characteristic blue sclera and deformed lips. And but just the clinical diagnosis is not sufficient. We always accompany it with blood test and genetic evaluation as well.
One question which is again there is, what is the advocacy plan of the organization? How do you plan to further your interest and your group's interest at various platforms with the parents, with the government, with all the stakeholders? How do you plan to do that?
So first comes to advocacy. It's very important being a patient advocacy group. What we need more is more than the government. We need the support of the parents and people with the condition itself. Often we see a lack of enthusiasm in the efforts, because once they receive the benefits or the help from us, the parents or the person with the condition often backs out from coming forward and taking the cause further. So what we look for and what we encourage parents is to be actively involved in the decision making and in the projects or of the NGO has such. We encourage them to be more forthcoming and volunteer themselves, not every day, probably just once a week or even twice a month will help us to reach out to doctors and respective governing bodies in the local areas, because in Bangalore we cannot be able to impact. We require from all the states to come forward and help us, and that's where the parents so they come forward and take the cause ahead in their respective towns or in their states. Take it forward to the government bodies in their respective states, even if it's as simple as taking it forward to the educative institutes, to create a more conducive environment for such children. So I think parents need to come forward. And when it comes to the government, uh, there are very few people with this imperfecta. For example, there are just probably 5,000 people with ORDI. And if you take the whole of the country, probably just say 2 to 3 lakhs of them. So to reach out to the government, we need to stand united and make a noise, and not just us as a NGO. We need our NGOs or advocacy group with similar interest or different conditions. We should work together in creating what is necessary, and we should reach out to such lawmakers. Especially one plan that we have in mind is to reach out to the disability director or the disability commissioner of our state to point out the lacunae in the assessment screening sheets that is available at the moment. So this is our plan, but I think more what's important is we need parents to come up and be more actively involved in these advocacy groups.
Is this preventable? Is there any precautions or anything that you can take to prevent the disease in the first place? Or
No, sir.
Is it hereditary? Is it transferred through inheritance, or either of the parent genes getting transferred, or is it a random mutation which happens?
It can happen both the means. If the parents have osteogenesis imperfecta, there's likelihood chance that the child will also have osteogenesis imperfecta. So it is a hereditary condition, firstly. And secondly, sometimes there are mutations that occur. So it can happen by both ways.
Okay. There are one more question. Do you have your organization spread out all across the country? Do you have somebody in Chennai who's looking after your interest, or because there's a question here which says, do you have a group in Chennai? So similar question could be, do you have other places as well? How are you represented? How are you represented in other places, other cities?
Currently, we are exclusively working in Karnataka, but we also have parents and people who connect to us from these various states. And if and when help is required, we reach out to the local doctor there who we know, and they in turn help them. But we are currently based in Bangalore, Karnataka, and we hope to spread our activities to the neighboring states soon.
So your members presently are based in Karnataka, from Karnataka itself.
That's right. But the members are from all throughout the country, not just Karnataka. We have many people from Andhra and Maharashtra who actively take part in this WhatsApp group and the discussions. But most of our projects are focused in Karnataka at the moment.
Okay. Archana, one question to you. Do you think we need to spread this, in the campaign for awareness? We need to spread out more and, so that just as you said, you're presently working more, concentrating more in southern part of the country, but the incidents would be equally, in numbers in the other parts of the country. So do you think we can spread that? And if ORDI can help you in any way to do that?
Sameerji, that's a very good point. Yes, certainly we should actually, work in collaboration to spread out our activities to, different parts of the country actually, because especially in remote areas, there is absolutely no awareness. Even in Karnataka, we have a lot of them coming from the rural areas. They don't have any awareness. They seriously lack on education. They don't know how to take care of the children. And, so with all these challenges, it's certainly important for us to, get together and kind of spread out our activities and do more awareness programs to help the OI community.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Vaishali ji, you have the question where you said, have you heard about Disability NGOs Alliance in Karnataka? I couldn't really understand what you mean by that.
Sure, Samit Sethi. Yeah, so in Karnataka, we have, we're trying to build a federation of disability NGOs together. And it's come under an umbrella called Disability NGOs Alliance. So just wanted to know, since Dr. Abhishek was talking about, coming together, etc., whether they have heard about DNA, because what the goal of DNA is to get organizations together, anybody who is working in this sector, to come together and work together. Like you rightly said, advocacy has to have a larger voice. So just wondering whether you have heard about it, and would you like to know more about it? Yeah, so that was the question.
We haven't, I in person, but I would be happy to work with them and work alongside.
Prasanna ji, I think, one question, one thought which comes out of this discussion is to see how we at ORDI can work together to have this advocacy spread out to other parts. A lot of NGOs, a lot of parent support groups have their limitations in terms of spreading to other parts of the country. And I think we should be working, we are spread out all across the country, and let's try and see how we can work that out to create that awareness for various conditions that we have with us. At least even if we can start with the members that we have on board at ORDI, we can do that awareness campaigns at different places at different times, so that more and more people, more and more patients who are suffering from these rare diseases can actually benefit to at least join those groups and start working collectively. That's a food for thought. Probably, I said we can mention it at Upasaraji, and we can keep a note of that. Okay, so any other question, any other comments that you would like to make before we move on to our next speaker? Okay, thank you, Dr. Abhishek and Akshaji. We will continue. We want you to be here, and if there are any more questions which come up, we'll definitely take up those questions from you. So our second speaker for today is Mrs. Anne Gonsalvez. It's again going to be a very interesting and forthcoming discussion with her. She is the chairperson of Multiple Sclerosis Society of India, the Chennai chapter. MSSI Chennai chapter was established in 1997 and serves more than 200 MS persons, affected persons over the states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, having their with a support group at Pondicherry. The MSSI Chennai chapter supports persons with MS for their medicine, treatment protocols, counseling, rehabilitation, assistive aid, socialization, information dissemination on well-being, as well as conduct advocacies for government policies and programs. We have a lot to learn from Ms. Anne Gonsalvez, who's a very, very dynamic personality. And I would welcome her to share her experiences and her learnings from this rare disease condition. Over to you, Ms. Gonsalvez.
Thank you, Samir, and thank you, ORDI, for this good introduction. The last session was very informative, and I hope I'll be able to do justice to my presentation. Thank you, ORDI, again. Thank you, ORDI, once again for giving us this opportunity. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, ma'am, but there is a lot of muffling in the sound. The sound is echoing.
I think the MSSI Chennai chapter will have to mute themselves.
Maybe you've got two connections very close to each other.
Yeah. 1 minute, please.
Madam, can you just unmute? Yeah.
Yeah, I unmuted.
Yeah. Go on.
Go on. Multiple Sclerosis Society of India, Chennai chapter. My topic will be rehabilitation through medical care for multiple sclerosis. The Multiple Sclerosis Society Chennai chapter was started by me. I'm a founder member in 1997. It was started by me with having no background at all in the medical field. It was just, I think, an act of God that I came into this field when somebody approached me to start the society. And though my background is banking, I took it up, and I've never regretted one day of having spent my time having to do something for a person with MS. Yeah, living with MS. Have you ever had to leave your job because you couldn't control your bladder? Have you had problems remembering what you read in the newspapers today? Have you had problems feeding yourself because of some unimaginable tremors? Have you felt so exhausted that you can't even take your kids to football practice? Have you ever felt scared to walk a few meters because of the fear of falling? These are the few of the problems multiple sclerosis patients face in their day-to-day life.
I request others to please mute themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Facts about MS. MS has no known cause, hence no known cure. It is often called the crippler of the young adult. It affects people in the age group of 14 to 40. The average age of MS onset is about 20 years, but today we have a young girl at Trichurapalli, that's in down south, who's 8 years old and has come up with MS. It is also said that there is also something known as pediatric MS, which has come up in America, but till date, our youngest patient is 8 years old. It affects people who are just beginning their life. There are more women than men who are affected by MS. Why? Nobody knows. 85% of the people initially diagnosed with MS have remitting relapsing MS, and 80% of those who have remitting relapsing MS gradually progress to secondary progressive MS, which is the more serious form of MS. What is multiple sclerosis? Multiple sclerosis affects the central nervous system, which is comprised of the brain and spinal column. Women affected more than men. Onset of the disease is 14 to 40. It's an autoimmune disorder, the antibody that acts against one's own body. It damages the nerve, the myelin sheath around the nerves in the brain cells or the spinal column. Demyelination, scarring, or plaque formation is formed in the central nervous system. This brings about the nerves lose their ability to communicate with each other. Hence, messages from the brain and spinal column are not sent out to various parts of the body.